Beerzerker here. Beer competition taste offing. Fuller's e.s.b. Champion Ale against the Yukon Brewing Company's Honey e.s.b. Alright, let's do it. We're going to taste them. Identical glassware. Okay. And then, show you what we got here. Alright. So we got a super can, a Fuller's e.s.b. Extra Special Champion Ale, 5.9% alcohol. Fuller's. So, I have absolutely the wrong glass here, but I have two of them. This is a little Heineken thing, right? So, completely impractical to pour an entire bottle of beer in. This was a poorly planned beer glass. Okay, so we got not the smallest bubbles, are not that fine. It's a little bit creamy, getting a bit dense. Smelling a slight bit citrusy almost. Interesting. Reminds me of something, but I can't put my finger on it quite yet. Now, I got Yukon. Twist off. Alright. This is a good way to get this brewery out there. The exact same style bubble. So, the exact same type of color. Yukon. Fuller's, okay. I wait for the heads to disappear. So far the this is Fuller's. Okay. Now it's reminding me of some kind of booze. It's reminding me of bourbon. Okay. Fuller's is tasting like bourbon. Kind of like an innocent gun. I'm getting a bit of vanilla notes and a bit of toffee. It wasn't a can, so absolutely no hop skunk here. No light struck. The head is obviously retaining much better on the Yukon. As if you want to get into get your stopwatch out, this is retained as the Fuller's has collapsed before I started drinking it. Now it's not even across the entire surface of the beer. Okay. It's unfair to compare with the first drink because my mouth is now accustomed to e.s.b. as it was accustomed to pierogies shortly before this. Okay, now here it begins. That's a lot smoother now. A lot of vanilla, a lot of toffee, a lot of bourbon. It's just smooth, tight. Smooth and tight. That's it. Nice and rich in the back, but not as an abrupt taste. It's not quite as out there. Flavor is a little more separated. It's a little more, like I say, I'm getting bourbon and oaky, a little more far out complexities here. Although head-wise, the Yukon is slaying it. Although if I would have had a bigger glass, both these beers would have had better head. But this is your Fuller's here. Picking up a bit of the honey there, a bit of the sweetness. The flavor is tighter, more compact. It is not as wild. It is definitely mellower, more of a everyone beer. Much better head retention, extremely smooth. All these guys' beer is extremely smooth. And Fuller's makes some good products too. I think one of my favorite ones was their porter, maybe. I'm trying to remember. It's kind of a... Yeah, I like their porter, and they have the London Pride too, which is okay. Yeah, this one's a lot more bitter in the back. It's got this killer bitter that just comes in and... But like I say, it's a whiskey bitter. It is a harsh bitter. It is not a... it tastes like an innocent gun kind of thing. Um, but curiously enough, it didn't come out of a clear bottle. Head still insanely performing, even though that was not a vigorous pour. Lacing balls and incredibly smooth. And that's I did the review on this series, including this one with the Yukon Brewing Company, and was flabbergasted at the smoothness and the head and head retention on their products and their perfect carbonation and their tight, well-balanced flavor. Kind of a nobody's gonna have any problems with their beer. Starting to pick out a little more of the flavors. It's starting to get a little more complex. Maybe as it's warming up. Maybe as I'm really thinking about the flavors of both these beers. It's starting to get a little more. I don't know how you say it. Complex. This one smells a bit. They smell very similar. This one's a little. The Yukon's a little lighter and a little more fruity. This one's a little bit darker and rubbery, or a little bit like leather or something. Well, it's definitely a lot different. This is definitely a musky, manlier kind of flavor coming out of the Fullers. Just not um, doing the head thing though. Just not like the Yukon. I don't know how they're doing it. Don't quote me on this, but I'm thinking maybe more hops, less alpha acids. That might be. I could be totally wrong. Well, this is more complex, but maybe in a bad way. It's kind of a across the back of my tongue. It's kind of a gross bitter for me. You know, kind of a shoe polish bitter, kind of. That's in the numbiness that maybe hops. I don't know. Maybe yeah. Completely unintrusive and extremely smooth like velvet. Again, all the way down and hardly had any head off that pour. In a little sissy Heineken glass. Whiskey, it's completely flat. And I don't know what they brewed this in. I don't know if they brewed it in oak barrel. I think if they did, they'd probably be plugging that on the can. Uh, no carbonation left in it. Well, there's some. It's carbonating, but it tastes real flat. Absolutely no head. It's flat in the mouthfeel. The mouthfeel is dead. Okay. Still a heavy beer, but kind of a sickening to the stomach beer. Kind of a little bit much, you know what I'm saying? Still smooth, no bad taste at all. But yet, not a whole lot of taste either, though. So I mean, you can look at the. I love these guys' beer because there's no way you could get mad at that. Like absolutely no offensive flavor. When you're drinking it beside a beer with crazy rank flavors and overtones and stuff, you're not gonna notice this one as much. So don't. When I say not a whole lot of flavor, not a whole lot of flavor when you're drinking it side by side a beer that has all kinds of flavor, not all exactly good. A lot of people would not like the Fullers. A lot of people that, if you wanted to introduce someone to e.s.b, I wouldn't give them the Fullers. I'll tell you that right now. You want to give them that one. Okay. Fullers. Not a single drop of foam in the cup. Okay. So, we're 11 minutes in. Should we do a longer review? So obviously this is the Fuller's cup. Let's do a more vigorous pour. Maybe that's the way you like to pour your e.s.b. Look at that slight mini waterfall almost out of that one. Son of a bitch. I totally missed the cup there. Oh, that's why I hate cans. That's all that's left. I can't really see too much. It's a big IPA style bubbles, but extremely foamy, so let's drink her a bit agitated. That was basically duck piss in the bottom of that cup. Tasting great. A little bit of tangy, hoppy, mild hoppy kind of, almost citrusy, a little bit, you know. Well, I think that head will probably perform a lot better than it did before, dumping it in like crazy like that. It's a lot more perfumey, but it's kind of making me sick. So as for the Fullers, I'm going to give them a little bit more points on complexity and a little less points on complexity. So that doesn't really matter because it's more complex, but it's kind of gross too for me. Maybe you're an e.s.b fanatic and you want. I'm just assuming a lot here. I don't think anybody really wants some of those flavors. It's like an Innocent Gun, I said, but Innocent Gun is like really, really good. That maybe not so good. So that Fuller's, I'm gonna give that a 6 out of 11. So that's, I don't know, that might be too much. I might give it a 5 out of 11. That wasn't quite a halfway beer for me. I've drank a few of them now. I bought the 4-pack because they were extremely overpriced where I bought them. Extremely overpriced. Some gross flavors, and nothing ever blew me away with it. I didn't really want to go out and try other e.s.bs until I bought the sampler pack that had e.s.b in it, and I was scared to drink it because of it. But the Yukon, extremely unintrusive, crazy lacing, the smoothest beer ever, great carbonation. Obviously quite tight to the style, the coloring, and a lot of very similar flavors, but yet none of them offensive, so they laid off. I mean, don't go heavy if you can't pull it off, which is like, oh, maybe Fuller's went a little too heavy when they should have just laid back on some, whatever the hell they did. Yukon, for myself, being extremely drinkable and a totally pleasant experience. As the Fuller's is a bit not nice on my stomach, you know. So that being a 5 out of 11, I would put the Yukon at more like a 10 out of 11. You know, and maybe I rated it different on the other review. Maybe I was a little more pissed, but it is extremely smooth. Um, you're in Canada, seek this beer out and try it. I shit you not. To get the sampler pack, they're all good. I'm gonna 10 this out of 11, and maybe I gave it 11 out of 11 on the other one, or 12. I don't know, but anyway, it's extremely good. Beerzerker, 15-minute review. Two similar style beers and two very different things going on. I'm out.